The WWE 2K franchise has been a pillar in the wrestling game community for years. But let's state the obvious here, some games are way better than others. A lot of the time, this comes down to straight character designs. Over the years, the WWE 2K games have given us tremendously lifelike character models that look like works of art. Other times, it looks like a blind, one-armed dog designed some of these characters. Yeah, so there's a huge gap between their best and their worst character designs. Today's video is breaking down wrestler character designs in the 2K games and deciding who looks the best and who looks most like 5-day-old spaghetti. Let's get into it right now. For the most part, I think WWE 2K18 did a really great job with the character models. There really weren't any that haunted my nightmares, but that's what makes the lackluster job done on the game's version of Edge just all the more painful. Just look at his entrance thanks to News to Gamers. Come on, 2K18. You spent all your time making everyone else look good, but when you got to Edge, you decided to cut costs? What gives? I get that hair can be really hard to animate and control, but it looks like he has long pasta noodles on his head that have minds of their own. He's like Medusa, but instead of snakes that turn you to stone, this animated version of Edge has horribly designed hair strands that make me want to turn the game off. And even though Edge has always walked with a bit of swagger, the game makes him look like he's a penguin that transformed into a human and is trying to learn to walk for the first time. And don't even get me started on the trench coat. Come on, game, it's like his signature thing. Again, I get how animating wavy things is hard, but it was just another poor element to an overall poorly designed character. John Cena is on the cover of WWE 2K15, so you would expect his character model to be one of the best in the game. And thankfully, that is the case. Now, I get it, as good as John Cena looks in the game, it's still sorta hindered by the outdated graphics, which are now almost 5 years old. So looking at it from a present day lens, it looks a little on the poor side, but look at it from 2015 eyes. From that perspective, it looks pretty good. The WWE channel put out their John Cena entrance ahead of time to get people really psyched for the game, and you can see why. Sure, nailing John Cena's look isn't necessarily that hard to do, it's not like painting a copy of the Mona Lisa or anything, but still, it's commendable the amount of little details that early game put into its star character's design. But it's not even just his image, it's his movements that are impressive. It's a little clunky, yeah, but the way this character bobs, weaves, and runs, you can totally tell this is John Cena. Yes, John Cena, we do see you. Alright, it's definitely clear that WWE 2K20 isn't the franchise's best game. We've all come to accept that by now. It's lazy, glitchy, and most of the designs are just not up to the high bar other installments have set. Seriously, look at this footage thanks to Trophy Gamers that shows a match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. But come on. How could you screw up The Rock? He's The Rock, for crying out loud. He's one of the biggest celebrities on the planet. Everyone knows what he looks like, so why does his character model look like the person who designed him forgot their glasses at home and then designed him with their non-dominant hand? But if I didn't tell you this was The Rock, would you have known? Maybe the tattoo is a dead giveaway, but for some reason, The Rock's face and body design just seems so off. Like, the only thing I can think of why this design is so horrible is because The Rock didn't quite give permission for his likeness to be used in the game, so the designers had to design someone who vaguely resembled the former wrestler in order to avoid a lawsuit. Was that the case? Probably not, but what other explanation is there? When you see AJ Styles in WWE 2K19, there's only one thing to say. Yes, AJ Styles, you are phenomenal. You have a phenomenal style and some phenomenal moves. Big thanks to the YouTube channel Extreme Jobber for the footage because Styles is just a joy to look at in this game. His look is absolutely perfect from his wavy hair to his clothing style all the way to his signature tattoo, with his big AJ letters followed by 4 dates to signify the births of his children, all of which have the initial AJ. But again, the most important thing here is that he moves just like AJ Styles does. When Styles delivers his finishing move, it's like you're looking at the real thing. Yeah, that's a perfect Styles clash. And even though it's just a video game, I still feel his opponent's pain. That's not weird, right? And when he cheers, I want to cheer along with him. This is one of the most convincing character models the WWE 2K games have ever done. And given how important the wrestler is now, it's a good thing they spent a lot of time making this model look genuine. If a lifeless, dead-eyed glass doll you found in the dumpster somehow had a baby with a deformed gargoyle, then you might get the 2K15 Shawn Michaels character model. Special thanks to Kashif Naveed for this 2K15 entrance, so now we can all see this abomination. Alright, maybe it's just because I think the Heartbreak Kid deserves more respect given his legendary status, but it seems like every WWE 2K game just can't get his character model right. It's like the designers at the game were cursed by a witch who really doesn't like Shawn Michaels, and the franchise is forever doomed to botch his character design. Alright, fine, that's a little harsh. But what else can I say? This character model gives me nightmares. At least, that's the vibe I get when I stare into his cold, unforgiving eyes that pierce my very soul. Being 2K15, I understand I'm not going to get the best looking graphics, but pair that with whatever the heck they did to Shawn Michaels' design and you got yourself one of the worst character models ever. Let's just start hoping that by the time 2K50 comes out they can finally master it? Here's hoping. Triple H is one of wrestling's biggest icons, and the WWE is very protective of his image. They need Triple H to always look like the skull-crushing, steely-gazed beast he always looks like. Just look at this footage from 2K18 thanks to Extreme Jobber, and be in awe at this legendary wrestler, which is probably why he looks so good in WWE 2K18. Like, for sure he's the best looking wrestler in that game, and it's his personal best design ever. We've seen some truly ridiculous over-the-top Triple H designs over the years. SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, I'm looking at you. But man, this 2K18 version is just so cool. He's a little slimmer than other versions, but it's much more realistic, and he still looks every bit as terrifying as he does in real life. Like, even though this is just a video game character, I still wouldn't want to meet this version of the character in a dark alley somewhere. Triple H has been in a lot of wrestling video games over the years, but this is how I'll forever see the character now, and I'll just smile thinking about his terrifying scowl and that permanent angry look on his face. Ah, good times indeed. Alright, I know Renee Young isn't a playable character, but her design in WWE 2K16 is so bad that I can't not include it on this list. Big thanks, kind of, to user Triggered Gaming for this clip, so now everyone can be haunted by this Renee Young character design. Oh man, where to even begin with this monstrosity? It's not just bad for this wrestling franchise, but it's bad for video games overall. It's scarier than PS1 Hagrid, and for those who know what I'm talking about, you know that's pretty extreme. Her eyes look like they're not only looking directly into my soul, but also filling it with garbage and hot mayonnaise. So yeah, that's what my soul looks like now. Thanks a lot. Her hair clearly has a mind of its own, probably because this video game design character stole the hair from a haunted rug from the 50s and taped it to her head, so now it's trying to escape, and it sadly can't. But now the worst part. It's the mouth that's just horribly animated. And when she smiles that chill-inducing smile, it makes me immediately want to take a hot shower and scrub myself with heavy-duty sandpaper in order to get clean. I can't even imagine being the real Renee Young and seeing this clip of myself. Alright, that's enough. Don't look too long or else I heard the video game character will jump out at you and steal your soul, taking its place in the real world. WWE 2K19's Brock Lesnar has an excellent design. I think it's one of the game's best. Thanks again to Extreme Jobber for the 2K19 footage. But then again, let's be fair here. It's almost impossible to screw up Brock's design. Yes, his attire in the game is practically perfect and well designed, but then again, it's black hand wraps, boots, and fight shorts. It would be weirder if this wasn't perfect, right? But sometimes the simpler designs can be the best. Just stripped down to his essentials, it allows players to really revel in the awesome might of the former Universal Champion. They get all his tattoos right too, and they just really pop on his hulking frame, which was a small detail that could easily have been overlooked but wasn't. My only complaint is that there isn't a turn a darker shade of red or purple move, because we all know that's totally Brock's MO. Maybe in a future game. I'm just happy we got this version right. Dana Brooke made her WWE 2K debut in the 2K17 game, and man, it's just heartbreaking to see what they did to poor Dana. Thanks to Exotic AJ for the footage of Dana, but also, why would you inflict this upon the world? For some reason, since they dressed her in a pinkish outfit, that meant that her skin tone had to be purple too? How weird was that? And had anyone actually seen Dana Brooke before making this design? The face looks nothing like her. It looks like a zombie trying to pass off as a human in order to escape detection. The only excuse I can come up with is that this was Dana's first inclusion in this franchise. And with any first attempt, there are bound to be issues, and thankfully the design got much better in later installments. But the 2K17 one will always live in infamy as one of the worst character designs ever. Maybe if this wasn't marketed as Dana Brooke, it might be a little better. But since this oddly designed character has Dana Brooke's name, I have to judge it a little harshly. The character design moves pretty well, which makes the terrifying face even worse. I've talked about how 2K20 has a lot of problems with their designs and graphics, but one thing I can say for sure is that the game absolutely nails Roman Reigns. Thanks to JJ Snake for this video game footage, because I could watch Roman slowly strut toward the ring all day, and this could have been a difficult one to get right. But thankfully, from top to bottom, this character design is a success. Sure, it suffers from the clunkiness that all the 2K20 characters deal with, but from a design perspective, it's just awesome. His tattoos are extraordinary, as are most of his facial expressions, which, sure, he doesn't have a lot of facial expressions overall, but you just get this general vibe of awesomeness when his video game character looks at you. That's the mark of a well-designed model right there. And it's interesting, the franchise has been really putting in work to Roman Reigns' character over the years. And the 2K20 just feels like the epitome of perfection. Now, if only the overall game was better, right? Who do you think has the best looking character model? Who do you think has the worst? Let us know in the comments below what your best and worst picks are, and be sure to hit that subscribe button for more awesome content like this. Thanks for watching CBR, see you next time.